So in today's video, we are going to be showing you guys how to know if you're on the best possible investment for the release of FIFA. So just before the video does start, a quick little ad on a trading service I offer over on Twitch. For the cheapest premium trading service for just £4, €4 or free with Amazon Prime. You'll get yourself daily trading and investing guides covering both Xbox and PlayStation with an array of different techniques depending on your budget. I've been trading for over 10 years, making over 100 million on multiple titles, and recently making over 10 million in the first month for the last 3 years. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining to you guys and showing you guys how to know if you have the best possible investment for when FIFA is released and loads of players go up. Now, yesterday was a massive point in FIFA, and that's because it was the first time anyone had any coins. Because EA obviously went and made the advanced SBCs untradeable. So because they made the advanced SBC tradable at a point where normally everyone would have, 100k from the advanced SBCs, no one had any coins. You got your starter packs, and as a whole that gave everyone about 10-20k. Now, yesterday we had Marquee Matchups, and the massive, point about Marquee Matchups is it's a tradable SBC. It's a very, very profitable SBC throughout the whole year. So what the massive effect of this is it's the first time people have had coins. In fact, it's actually quite interesting because it's the first time people have had coins, and in theory the first time a lot of packs have been opened. Now the relevant point of this is, prior to this, no packs would be opened and people didn't have many coins. So the likes of Messi was about 80k, the likes of Nkuku was about 35k, the likes of, Dembele was 30k. But what happened yesterday, we had the first time that basically EA went, there you go, here's 20k. There you go, here's 5 packs. And the relevance of this is that we can use yesterday to simulate when the games release. Now, what I mean by this is yesterday you got to think of it as EA gave everyone 20k and 5 packs. Now, what's going to go and happen on the release of the game is everyone's going to get 4.6k's worth of FIFA points and 10 packs, to simplify, or 50 packs maybe. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to see how did yesterday everyone getting more coins and packs affect players, because again, when the full game's released, people are only going to get what we got yesterday but an amplified amount. We're going to get double or triple the effects of what happened yesterday, but obviously on the 26th. Now, I don't think players are going to double and triple, as much on the 26th, but I just think, the players that were positively affected yesterday should also be the players that are going to be positively affected on the 26th. So I can show you a few players to show you how the trends varied. So, first of all, I'll show you generally one of the best players to come out of yesterday, and that is the likes of Nkuku. And obviously we know Nkuku is very demanded, but let's have a little look at his hourly graph yesterday. So, yesterday the Marquee Matchups came out at 6 PM, which in Nkuku was 38k. So with an increase in coins and an increase in packs opened, so potentially supply, Nkuku went from 38k all the way up to 62k, and now he's back down to 52k. So we can see that when there's an increase in coins and an increase in packs being opened, Nkuku is what everyone is buying. People are basically saying, bin off all the stuff I've just packed, let me go and pick myself up in Nkuku. And what this shows is when everyone's opening packs on the 26th, because they're getting their free 4.6k FIFA points, people are going to be doing the exact same, because this is now a proven demanded card when there's an increase in coins. Another player that I found this worked really well with was Theo Hernandez. Theo Hernandez, yesterday again, all you got to do is head over to FootWiz, type your player in, again, then go down to hourly and see. Again, you remember Marquee Matchups come out at 6. This guy's a little bit slow, but he started off at 28k, went up to 32, went up to 37k last night, and he's right now sitting at 38. So we can see that, he's up 10k, which, as a percentage, he's up 33%. And that is like the nerdy way, and the way I'm going to be looking at it in today's video is I'm going to be showing you guys some of the biggest rises and the biggest flops. And basically, all you want to do is use yesterday to know, is your investment that you've made actually any good? For example, Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder previously has been quite a proven player, but yesterday was pretty rough for Ben Yedder. Ben Yedder we can see right here. Obviously, this is what it was before the Marquee Matchups. Marquee Matchups are at 6 and he's 10.6k. Well, you know, for the few hours after Marquee Matchups, it's going from basically averaging about 11k, and we're sitting down at 10k. Now, it did get purchased back up again, but this is not really a good trend. Like, if I'm showing you that Nkuku went up 30, I think it went up 30, 40%. If I'm showing that Theo Hernandez went up 20k, and then I'm showing you that Ben Yedder went down 10%, he's recovered, but that is not a positive trend of there's an increase in packs, there's an increase in people having coins, there's not an increase in demand in the likes of Ben Yedder. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm probably going to go and look at the best part, about 50 to 100 cards that I think would be very common for you guys. 50 to 100 cards even that I think would maybe have different trends. So I can just walk you guys through what to look at when heading over to FUTWIZ, typing your players or typing your investments in, and then knowing, okay, is this player going to do well when the game's out? So then we'll start the video talking about Team of the Weeks. I've basically grabbed anyone who is anything above this card, and yeah, we're going to show you guys the trends. So we'll start here with Mr. Federico Valverde. Now, going into 6 p.m. the Marquee Matchups, Valverde was 50k. He did go all the way up to 70k, and he's actually held 70k. Now, going into Marquee Matchups, I only really ever backed Valverde in the Prem players. The reason for this is where saturated demand is. This is where everyone builds their team. You can say to me, yeah, people are going to use Gakpo, yeah, people are going to use Deulofeu, but I'd say for free, people are going to use Real Madrid. They're going to use the Prem. Like these are proven combos. And Valverde's got some really good trends right here. Moving from 50 to 70, that's a decent increase. Obviously, he's up, well, the best part of 40% if I'm not wrong. So very, very nice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of these. Now, some people also might say, but Dan, what about the guaranteed Team of the Week player? It's an untradeable player. It won't affect prices. Do not worry about the guaranteed Team of the Week. So on again, you had a really, really nice trend is the likes of De Bruyne. I mean, going into it, De Bruyne was sub 100k, 92k. He literally doubled in price going off of the hourly peaks. He has calmed down since and back down to 145, 150, which I think is a lot more reasonable. But yeah, up 50, 60%, very, very nice on the likes of De Bruyne. We then go to Saliba, and these players aren't up as high as a percentage, and I'll explain to you guys why some of the cheap players aren't up as a high percentage as the 100k players. And the reason for this is people having 20, 30k is not new, right? Having 20, 30k before Marquee Matchups, it was relatively hard, but it was pretty doable with discarding players and whatever. So as a result, Saliba was never like undervalued or people couldn't afford him. Saliba was always at, oh yeah, I've got, what did they want yesterday? I've got 23k for Saliba. Having 23k wouldn't have been rare. Now, in my opinion, that's why you didn't see that much of a rise on the 20k players as much as you've seen a rise on the 100k players and, 60, 70 pluses. Or you'll see later in the video, is because it's not, really the increase in coins didn't allow people to afford a Saliba, but it has allowed some to afford a De Bruyne. But like the Saliba, I mean, the trends right here aren't amazing. 23, up to 28, down to 28. Again, it's a 5k increase. You're looking at about a 20% increase. It's not amazing from the players I've looked at. We then get the likes of Heung-min Son. Lovely, lovely trends right here. 150, hitting heights of 220, and now sitting at the likes of 200. Not as good as De Bruyne, if my maths doesn't fail me. I mean, we're looking at an increase of, what's it? So if we're saying to 200, we're looking at an increase of about 35%. So not amazing. No De Bruyne of about 50 to even doubling in price. But yeah, which I'll be honest, does surprise me. But there we go. Let's see Son. And a player that I've had all week about, what about Gakpo? Is Gakpo a good investment? Everyone using Eredivisie teams. I personally take it as Eredivisie's a fad, right? Everyone likes the idea of using the Eredivisie. You guys are all going to have like 100k, 200k day one, and you're not going to use the Eredivisie. And right here I feel like is a decent, decent sign of, so he's going for about 17, went down to 16, rebounded there to 18, and he's currently sitting at 17, right? This guy went from 16 to 17. He didn't even go up 10%. He went up like 5, 6%. So, again, I personally have the Eredivisie as a fad. I don't think people are actually going to use the Eredivisie. And this right here proves, don't go into the likes of him. Now, again, it's not bad. It's not a minus trend. But it just shows, when people are getting coins, they're not rushing to buy Gakpo. So when people jump on the Ultimate Edition, they're not going to be rushing to buy Gakpo. And again, another player. Again, my holy grail is pick France, Prem, or go with AC Milan, PSG, or what's it called, Real Madrid. That is the holy grail in my opinion of investing. Just because if you want if you want to see what people are building, they're building those teams. Probably throw Bayern Munich in there as well. So Deulofeu, again, not part of, in my opinion, the holy grail. Price yesterday was 16k. Did go up to 18k, but again, we're only looking at about a 10% increase there. But I don't back him. You know, he's fast. Yeah, looks cool. I don't back that card. Again, just keep it a French Prem and the likes of Real Madrid. What we'll do right now is I actually want to go and look at French Prem and Real Madrid. So let's go and show you what I personally would back as some of the best investments, and I'll go and find trends that back them up. So I've got an array of different cards to go and show you guys between French players, Prem players, Meta League players, an interesting trend on an extinct player, then I've gone for heroes, and then I've gone and shown you guys a few players who flopped. And I'll explain, I guess, one by one. Starting off with ye old trusty Mendy. Now, obviously, I've already shown you that Theo Hernandez did very well. I've shown you that Nkuku did very well. And I've already shown you that a few Prem informers have done very well. But to add to that list of French and Prem, Mendy, we can show you his hourly. Again, what you're looking for is the 6 p.m, which is going to be 1800 hours, or I guess it might be local time to you guys. 31k, up there to 42, and the likes of 43. Obviously, that is a nice little increase of... What are we looking at? We're looking at about a 40% increase there from 30 to 42, so not looking too bad on the likes of Mendy. Not mad, surprising. Dembele, who I actually thought flopped at the beginning. I'll be honest, he didn't have the highest ROI, but I just imagine a lot of you guys have invested in him, so I've decided to cover him. But Dembele was the likes of 32, then went up to the likes of 40 again. The ROI on him isn't amazing. If you got him anyway, you know, it's not the end of the world, but there were better players. Obviously, Mendy went from 30 to 42, whereas this guy went from 32 to 40. Obviously, you know, not quite as good. Holding 40 though, you know, not too bad. We then get to Mo Salah. Mo Salah had a really nice trend. He went from the likes of 65, probably been sitting at 70 all day in all fairness. Then up to the likes of 114. So yeah, not too bad right there. I think that's like a 45, 50%. That's over a 50% increase, so really nice. And again, that kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier in the video. People have only just been able to afford 70k players. They weren't only just able to afford 20, 30k players. I'll also talk about buying these players, obviously, because now they're up, you know, how are you meant to invest in them? Then we get to the likes of Kenshello. Kenshello had a really, really nice trend. He's gone from the likes of 23 to the likes of like 32. I think he's in a 31 right now. So yeah, nice little increase of 40, 50% if I'm not wrong. We then get to Jotter. Now Jotter didn't have a nice increase, but there was actually a really interesting thing you can take away from this. Now Jotter's min price is 17.5k. That means on a lot of his graphs, you will see that he's sitting around about the 18k mark, because that's just his min price range. So what we kind of know, or what we can take from that, is we can take that he's kind of probably going to be half flooded at his min price range, right? Which basically means that even though it doesn't look like, you know, even though it doesn't look like he's risen much, what you got to understand is like 1,000 people might have had to buy that card at the bottom price for him to then rise, you know, above that bottom price. So basically it's just quite an interesting trend if you guys have these players. I know players like Van Dijk and Ronaldo and so on are all sitting at their min price range. And obviously you're not going to see an amazing rise in their price, but what you got to bear in mind is normally when 100 people buy a card, it rises it. But if someone's got 100 cards flooded at discard and they've gone from discard to actually a price on the market, then what you can start telling is, again, even though I guess the rise doesn't look very good, you can see that the demand's definitely there. And obviously, you know, he's gone from half flooded, probably sitting at that discard, to the likes of 22k, which is obviously, you know, slightly impressive. So I guess this is just a little bit of a trend to look at for you guys who have your cards at discard. If they've gone from, at min price, if they've been sitting at min price and now they're at like market rate where they can go up and down rather than obviously sitting at the bottom, that is obviously a positive trend. We then get to heroes. Hero prices have been crazy, but likewise, again, it's a little bit like the Salah. These are cards that are a little bit more expensive that people have only just been able to afford. Joe Cole, we look at his trend, and he was the likes of 56, went all the way to 118, which literally means he's doubled in price, so I guess 100% increase, and he's actually still sitting at 100. So really, really nice trend there on the likes of Joe Cole. We even moved to the new icon of Harry Kewell, God knows. And yeah, the same sort of thing for him. It was in the likes of 50, 60k, and he's now up to the likes of 90k. So a 50% increase on the likes of Harry Crowell. Checked a few of the heroes. Obviously, the heroes that were like 200-300k just banged, or the ones that are 100, 150 are banged. But obviously, I thought I'd try and keep this video relevant for the average person doesn't have 150. They might have 50, and so on. Now moving to a few flops. Rafael Leao, pre-marquee matchups was about 13, 14k. Then dropped to 12, and I'll be honest, he's only just recovered to his price, so a bit of a flop. Yeah, I mean, in the end of the day, it isn't French. It is AC Milan, which I do back for someone like maybe a Tomori. But yeah, I say, not looking that great. You might maybe want to sell him and find someone who actually rose. And someone who was quite surprising, Anthony, potentially the second best right wing in the Prem when it comes down to FIFA. Obviously, you've got Salah, Anthony, but you do have Sterling who could be position changed. Anthony, sadly, if we look at his trends yesterday, so yeah, so it would have been about 17k. We sadly don't have that much data, which is a bit annoying, but he would have been about 17k. He then dropped to about 17 here, 18, and yeah, he seems to have been under what he was before marquee matchups, way more than he was over the price. So obviously that's not a very good trend for someone who does look quite promising as a player in the Prem. So obviously, all these cards are kind of up in price right now because everyone's got the coins. So how are you going to get these investments? Well, in the reality is you are not going to get these investments at the prices they were before marquee matchups. And why is that? Because the coins are here. The damage is done. You know, like the prices before marquee matchup was before you guys all had coins. Now you guys all have coins. Nothing's going to be cheap. But there is still a way to look at it because obviously he was 62k earlier. He's 53k here. This doesn't mean that it's dropping and dropping and dropping. It's that you have to understand that during the day, the supply and the demand of cards goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Because, you know, obviously more people log on, more people list the cards. The game isn't out in all fairness. You can have easily have points where loads of people are listing, but no one's like, well, I'm not buying the card yet. So really it just comes down to daily fluctuations. I'll be honest, I actually think early morning isn't looking too bad. Because, I mean, you can see right here, early morning he was like 37. He was then up to like 39 all day. And again, you can't really use post 6 PM prices. So I would say, obviously, this video is probably going to be uploaded at 9 in the morning. I would say now probably isn't a bad time going off the presumption that they're down from like an evening price. And I do think this is the case with a few other players. We've got to look at Theo Hernandez. See if we can look at his hourly data. In all fairness, he actually had a bit of a swoop down going into 6 PM. What's he been like? 38, 37. It's kind of holding 38 at the moment. But you can also use the graphs to just try and see, okay, am I getting a low daily fluctuation? Obviously, again, these players are very subjective. You saw Nkuku's down 10, but Theo Hernandez isn't down yet. So maybe you just want to go, all right, well, you know, in the end of the day, right, they're probably going to rise day to day, but there'll be points in the day where they'll be down. So basically, think of this graph right here, right? So the cards are expected to keep rising and rising and rising, but that's the daily trend. In reality, it's a little bit like this, right? Obviously, it's not as linear, I think. So every day, cards will have a low, and every day, cards will have a high. But the overall trend is that they're just rising. So do expect this trend. And again, I would say midday to early morning to midday is probably going to be your best time to go and pick these cards up. But obviously, that's not guaranteed. But yeah, I'd say that's all she wrote. The main thing you need to take away from this is if you guys got an investment. Let's say I've got myself a Neymar, lucky me. All you gotta do, head over here, press on the hourly graph, find what price they were at 1800 or 6 PM. Go and have a look at what price they are now. So Neymar was for how much Neymar was. That's not a very good trend. That's awful. It's like, what are you looking at here? We are looking at, I mean, maybe it's not awful. It's like 30%. I mean, him being 250 right now, that's pretty bad. That'd literally be only like a 10% increase. So ideally looking for someone with at least a 40, I'd say 40, 50% increase. If not, you might want to go and bin off your player and go and buy someone who seems to be a little bit demanded. Because again, the whole idea is when people get coins, they're buying your player like they did last night, marquee matchups. Main rises, we do expect to be on the release of the Ultimate Edition. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this cleared up some investments and any questions you guys have, and hopefully allow you guys to go and find some good investments nonetheless. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later with a trading tutorial.